And it's kind of up to the artist to decide that, right? It kind of empowers them to make that decision, as opposed to relying upon a label to make that decision.
So you imagine a future where there's less need for collective bargaining agreements and more of a crowdsourced bargaining agreement, if you will?
You can, no, so I guess when I talk about did you hear that from when I said about seeing the value of everyone's work?
Yeah.
Well, you can now. Right now, it's kind of closed, and you kind of like rely on your label and everything else to do your work for you. But you can have a world where you can kind of see it. And as artists, you can go like, oh, I noticed that the average is 2 cents and 5 cents. And you can define your contract. I'm only willing to accept things that are platforms that'll pay me 3 cents. And you just walk away. And if it's on their platform, and you'll collect that money based off the usage. So,
correct me where I'm wrong, but I would maybe kind of point out that what we're kind of theorizing about or proposing is sort of like a new platform, just like there's a new iTunes or Spotify or whatever is going to come next. And so, yeah, there's always going to be like, the artists can always get together and say, hey, we're going to have a collective bargaining agreement where we all agree to not join X platform. So I don't know that it's going to like be a crazy revolution in that way, but it's more like, I think what's exciting about it is the change of, the possible change to an underlying technology that now you don't have to rely on Spotify to go to their databases and get the information for you, and go to their accounting department to release the check for you. Now you have an underlying technology that can do all that automatically. So I think that's what's really exciting and what enables like these new potential platforms that could be that disruptive.
That's right.
And
Yeah, please.
So aren't you worried about kind of diluting the power silos? It's like you have UMG today, right? The only huge power of UMG is they're so large they can go to YouTube and say, all the UGC content that is here, you are going to pay $1 billion or we're going to sue you. You are going to YouTube and say, you know what, my content is here, I want to be paid.
And they could do that in a new platform too. They will just define their limit. Like these set of songs, you have to pay 10 cents.
Yeah, but we are talking about the ones that you are distributing. I'm talking about UGC users.
Yeah, they can do the exact process. Let's say I make a new song and I go through this process. It makes sense to you, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is the label who owns all this, really popular music. They can go through the exact same thing and define it how they want. So if I make a platform, like let's say I call it music for cheapies, right? And then my platform is really only going to have a library or access to songs that are less than 3 cents.
You're still talking about distribution of your content that you have kind of power on. I'm talking about UGC. So think of VidMe, right? They started yesterday and they said, upload anything you want. So people did. And half of that is yours. How you are going to go to them and say, yeah, well,
I don't think, I'm less concerned about them in the past. This is a new house that we're trying to kind of build, and ultimately, they're going to be the last ones on, I think. Once they kind of see that there's enough people and there's some money that they're leaving on the table, they're going to probably try to move on to those sort of things.
That's studios, but not the platforms. I'm talking about literally new Facebook will show up tomorrow. It will allow anyone to upload anything.
Yeah, they could. I can't stop them. I mean,
and that's what I'm talking about. But UMG can't, because UMG comes in and say, we are going to sue you for $5 billion.
Yeah, if they put down their music, and that's going to just. Now we're talking about like how a company is going to interact. Like, I cannot speak to that.
I know, but it's very important because essentially that is creating a significant value of YouTube that generated $8 billion last year. Of that, just the music on UGC is $2 billion. So as you said that you are represented by UMG, part of your money is coming from them, and only because of their power.
Yeah.
But if you dilute that and you say, here's 1 million or 5 million artists, and all of them are for their own, essentially you're going to lose this very quickly. That's kind of one of
and people will interact, and there's probably going to be some other kind of business models. Like I kind of want to try to get to another slide where we can kind of talk about how new artists can kind of come about and raise their funds, and kind of where this new music can come from. Given that there's going to, like Jason said, there's going to be like a 40 million was the difference? 40 to 78 million?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be like a DAO or whatever? The same sort of thing. You have a big power structure that would be decentralized, but because of the number of people involved, it would have some sort of leeway, maybe?
Yeah.
That could be
Who's
impossible.
going to go in the real world, pay the lawyers, and all of that stuff that is happening today. I mean, that's why you have 3 music studios and not 300 of them. Because the 3 music studios have so tremendous
Just like
power
new paradigm.
over the. Yeah, well, new paradigm is fantastic, but the world doesn't work that way.
Yeah, so it's going to be a long fight, and there's going to be companies, and there's already companies trying to tackle that. And
Well, you mentioned MediaChain. MediaChain wasn't acquired because it works. It was because it doesn't. They literally acquired the team because they raised 1.4 million, burned through that, and nothing ever happened. Why? Because it doesn't work that way. And I'm very excited about blockchain, but I think like at some point you have to understand the power in the real world that is not translated into blockchain.
yeah, you're right. And I guess my answer is like, well, fuck that. I don't care. I don't know. Like fuck them.
What are the optimistic view again is maybe on this platform one can create some sort of distributed organization that could somehow raise funds to take the place of a large label. Now, whether or not that actually happens, who knows? But I think that presumably that is
That's a possibility that happens. Like, there's a bunch of artists who be like, we really need better negotiation power. Some guy's going to write some sort of distributed organization smart contract where they all kind of pool money. I don't know what the rules are going to be, but let's say you have to buy in 10 Ether every year, and you get the negotiating power of everyone in the pool.
I mean, the amount of money that can be generated from everybody is far greater than that's generated through the profits of the music right now or from these centralized labels. Yeah, I'd say that coin offerings or token releases have resulted in the largest and quickest raising of capital ever. The Ethereum block, like the Ethereum core developers raised was $150 million in a month, and that was the first time that's ever happened. And I think most recently, what was a token release that happened?
There was Genesis that did 12.5. There was Token that did 12.5.
And they're raising millions of dollars in a matter of a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think Genosis was like 10 or 12 minutes. How long was that? How fast? Will you remember?
So was
Yeah,
it 15
within a handful
minutes
of
or 12
minutes,
minutes?
the token release was over. And that meant that they managed to raise 12.5 million in a matter of a couple of days.
And that's
And that-
like
that-
the first year that this is really ever happening. I mean, it's only going to continue.
And this actually kind of goes well, it's a good segue to the next slide, which is, whoa, hold on. Where's it?
I was already there. There.
Or, no, there was that one with, was it this one? Okay, so new artists, right? So the reason the label kind of exists now is because they kind of, you're with your friends, you're making new music, you're going to like small bars, but then you actually want to go out on tour. So what you kind of do, you kind of get scouted, the label gives you some money up front, then they provide a bunch of resources, and now you can kind of go on tour. But why not a scenario where, as a band, you can kind of create your street cred, and then create a sort of like token release or something like that, where you want to raise $100,000 for your first album and to go on tour for like 6 months. You can kind of create that sort of scenario where people kind of buy into it, and the benefit for them, depending on what's constructed, is like maybe if you get 10%, it's like a little loan, think of it like that. Anyone who buys in, they get 10% back at the end. So you go on tour, you get this $100,000, but every check that you receive in terms of like all your tickets, whatever other thing you merch, you put back into the system, and everyone gets paid 10%. After they're paid at 10%, they have their money back, and you keep everything else up afterwards. So now you kind of bootstrap your band, right? You've managed to collect some money to kind of do what you want. Now, that might not be successful for everybody, but it can be successful for some. In short, I guess I'm saying it's like a Kickstarter sort of scenario for your band. But the incentive isn't like tickets or something like that. It could be just like monetary value. And you can kind of like, you'll know who supported you if you kind of manage to find the people behind it.
Yeah, and the transparency that it'll offer will allow measurable progress for the band's success. So that an investor can say, well, it looks like you guys did really well in your last tour. You sold so many tickets. Those ticket sales and fan engagement can be locked onto the blockchain in such a way that offers real evidence of that band's success versus a promise.
And so like you negotiate for year 2 tour. you now have information as to like, I had this many people, I managed to sell this many records, I have this many strings. And you can define your contract and say like, I'm trying to raise, you know, $500,000 or $1 million, whatever it is. It can even be for small things, if you want to do a music video, I don't know. You can get community support from your community where you provide value back to them through the system, right?
Let's say you're internet, how do you do an ICO?
I'll let Ed change it from ICO to token release for one.
Or
But you would have to, right now there aren't really, it's not really terribly easy. I mean, if you're a developer, it would make sense. There's already code for it. But there are, like for example, Ujo and a couple others are probably working on something similar to this. And there's probably just someone in their garage doing it right now, trying to make a platform where it would be like music fund. You know, but for you as an artist right now, because it's so young, there isn't an answer. Just again, maybe aware, even if you want to find someone or a developer and go like, hey, there's this really cool problem, and start your own little company, just tap on this one thing, and use your network to build it out.
Yeah, and the community is small enough, the developer community, where we're all kind of talking to one another about how we can make this infrastructure work. As a matter of fact, Angelo and I had a conversation today with some devs up in San Francisco that are working on a possible credit card payment system for our ticketing platform that would make it much easier for consumers to get into the world of cryptocurrency versus going through an exchange, which can sometimes take some time. Now, how did that arise? Well, we worked together. We tried to find these solutions together and build to reinforce the community, which I think is an amazing thing. And there might, like Angelo stated, be somebody in the garage right now working on a platform to make that happen. Question?
Excluding those of us in the room now, about how large is the community?
The blockchain community or the Ethereum?
The community that you're referencing that's trying to solve these problems in music.
It's relatively small. I don't know.
And they're pretty scattered around the world too. I mean,
I don't know numbers off the top of my head, but I can't imagine it reaching.
it's probably, I mean, I know it probably reached 2,000. That was the last time I looked at something. It's probably less than 10, close to 5. Would be my best guess. And that's probably optimistic still.
Yeah.
A lot of them are locked up in like banks.
I mean, we're in the incredibly early stages of this technology. Like very, very, very early stages. There's a lot of unknowns, and there's many more questions than we have answers for. What we're trying to do
It's
here
free
is
passwords. I mean, if you want to raise some money and try to like find someone who wants to do it, like developer, start your own companies and solve a problem that fucking bugs the shit out of you. Because if not, we might do it.
yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
So 2 questions. One is, what if I'm a customer of you guys and I lose my private key? Second question is, how do you guys make money?
So for us specifically then?
Are you talking about our ticketing platform?
Yeah, so is it you just make money off your ticketing platform, or do you guys charge artists a certain amount to write contracts, or like what is your revenue model?
Yeah.
It'd be very similar to a regular normal ticketing platform. We would be just charging a small amount to kind of process and do all that work.
Which will be much less
Yeah.
than what the
Instead of paying
incumbents are
$40
charging.
$30 per ticket, it's really going to be a handful of cents.
We can also charge for the creation of the smart contracts.
Because we are providing a value service on top of just having a smart contract.
Yep.
We have to do the amount of education.
We can run a node that will execute those contracts, so we actually receive some of the gas to execute the smart contract. In addition to that, we can write in logic to control the secondary market. So we can capture the value that's being generated in the secondary market and funnel that back to the appropriate party, as opposed to just into the pockets of the scalpers.
Losing a private key, you're just SOL.
Yeah, don't lose your private keys.
Part
guys.
of the purpose of having all this
Whatever you
security
do.
and whatnot is that no one can fake a transaction as you. And so if you lose that private key, no one in the world can figure what that is. That's kind of the basic tenet.
And when he says private key, do you guys know what he's talking about? Who doesn't know what he's talking about?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, so private key is kind of like the password to your online banking account.
Okay.
The problem is that there's no forgot your password button underneath it if you forgot your password.
You're SNAP.
Yeah, you're SOL. Yeah, so don't lose it.
Literally SOL, like.
And that's part of the idea of the blockchain is that you are your own bank.
Simply out of luck, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's an interesting situation because I know a lot of people who are going to be SOL because they can't keep track of anything.
So, a part of that solution is that not to have just one key. There's that whole multi-key kind of thing. So the artist, let's say there's 5 people in band and there's 5 different keys, and they can actually make more. So like they like give 1 or 2 to the label or publisher if they kind of go that route. And they can create a rule saying at least 3 of the keys need to be valid or usable to kind of do any sort of action on it.
I'm talking about the end user who's buying the ticket, and it's, some people can't grasp good password management and stuff like that. And
Yeah, so part of that's just like living on like, your phone and whatnot. You're right. There might be some amount of work we have to do to manage it ourselves. I prefer not to. The first step will probably be to manage it ourselves for a while we kind of try to educate and like wean people off of us.
Yeah, we're working on some solutions to manage those problems. They've been made apparent to us, so we're trying to mitigate that as much as possible. With this technology, there comes a tremendous cultural shift in the way that we behave, the way that we perceive value. What I find kind of interesting is when I ask people on the street what gives their dollar value, they don't even know. They don't know what the Federal Reserve is, they don't know what the Treasury Department does. I asked my grandmother, I love her to death, 87 years old, and I was like, Grandma, what gives the dollar value? You're 87, you've been around for a while, you should know that. And she was like, the mint, the US mint? It's like, no, Grandma, that's not how it works. Gold, that's the response that a lot of people think. And that's kind of how we just don't even ask those questions. So it's really interesting that people become really kind of scared of this new world when they don't even know how the world works or how the internet works now. So there's that barrier to entry that's going to require a cultural shift where you start to encrypt your passcodes in a different kind of way. Perhaps there'll be some sort of tool.
There might be a service that's kind of like 1Password or something like that
Yep.
can manage your certain things.
A free open source distributed tool to manage your passcodes.
no, I think it's all great, but if you said to somebody who's like the world's biggest fan of Imogen Heap, to go to the Imogen Heap concert, they have to install 1Password on their iPhone. They will not go to the Imogen Heap concert because they can't do that. There's going to be that barrier.
You're right, and we would like to, like for us, like when we kind of do things on the run, we'd like to have the biggest character that we can possible to kind of get people over that hump. But we also acknowledge that not everyone knows this, so like using a service like that Happy Chain might develop, where they use just your credit card and we kind of manage some of the risk in between. It mitigates some of the benefits because now I kind of have to do more work that's not part of this new ecosystem, but I think it's okay for now because we would like to just wean them off of us.
Yeah.
Kind of get them. We might do things like, the ticket might be $150 with the credit card or $100 with just going through the exchange and get it that way. I've now incentivized you to kind of like, you know what, I really want to save $50. And what do I have to do? I have to go to the exchange, you wait a day, and now you only pay that much.
Yeah, and Bill, I'll get to your question in 1 second. We host these meetups to get feedback from the community because we are largely building out this new infrastructure.
Any complaints or suggestions?
Yeah, like we're the guys that are like, well, that's really interesting. I guess we have to make that now.
Yeah.
That's where it's at. Like, it's, would be like having Steve Wozniak in the 70s being like, well, I really like a better LED display or whatever it would be.
Right.
That's what this is right now. So, we really appreciate the feedback and those
But if I
questions.
go to Resonate right now and sign up, I will be doing this now. I will be using blockchain and Ethereum and
Yeah, I think they use it in the back end, and they have like a big wrapper, so I think, I'm trying to remember their site now. It looks like a normal site. It's just kind of using that technology in the back.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hidden from me.
Bill.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of add to that. I think maybe this is a little naive, but I see that particular problem, password problem, as something that's going to be solved. I can't imagine a world where everyone is having to remember their one password and just totally SOL. Like, people will build layers on top of it, on top of it being the blockchain. Obviously, for like the purists who want that privacy and don't want it